in the chat. So leave your questions and we'll go to the inbox as well. Hope everybody's doing well. And
Let's see.
Let's just jump in. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess we can
do it.
We've already discussed what we were going to discuss, so we're good.
Solve all the world's problems except for Ricky's insurance.
Nope, we didn't solve my insurance problem.
No.
And I don't even think that's real. So
In fact, we're like a little freaked out by it. So
the drive-by do-it-yourself. I just don't know how that's gonna work. You're gonna go to the hospital and be like, dude, did you get this out of a cereal box?
right? Yeah.
Where'd this card come from?
I'm just saying. Yep, that I gotta send a card back with blood on it. Yep, that's gotta work.
The Captain Crunch. Oops, all berries.
This is the worst prize ever.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
I know, but can you imagine that's someone's job to get all those like bloody cards out of them?
There's other things they collect. I always see those commercials. Also, we're talking about watching Blue Bloods and the open enrollment constantly. I see those. What's that? The box that you put your stuff in.
Open a box.
Yeah, that commercial gets me every time. Like, whoa, oh, nice. Oh, what was it called? It's called because I see it constantly. With a little box, he walks around the house and jumps into the
Cologuard.
Cologuard.
That's it.
What a cartoon. I bet you didn't tune in to hear about Cologuard. Sorry if you're having dinner.
Sure didn't.
Open enrollment time.
Open enrollment. Yes, please. We have Danny Glover. We have Joe Namath. Who else do we have? Hockett,
we need to have Mike Rallman. I'm just saying.
Dude, I'm still a young chicken. You got to be older. I'm almost there.
Okay, you got it.
Oh, you'll have to do it soon.
Shut up. We're gonna have to do those.
The alternative's not that great either.
That's true.
I mean, I think I'd rather poop in a box than
I don't know, man. Oh my god, that's so gross.
You have such a weak stomach. You may not be able to do that.
Like I could pretend like I was an astronaut because they have called Mr. Target on the space station. Like I could probably do that, but that's about it.
What?
A toilet on the station is called the Target, and then for the other, like for your liquid evacuations, it's called Mr. Thirsty. And I'm not kidding. That's what they call it.
All right.
Yeah, it's what you learn when you go to space camp. I'll give you that one for free. It's the Target, Mr. Thirsty.
Okay.
Oh, I got to talk about the right stuff when we start.
Good to know, Mike.
Yes.
I know. I love that people tune in and they get to hear that.
Yes, this is a bonus stuff you've come early for. That's
yes.
Okay, here we go.
We need to, you know what? We need to start keeping some of these and putting together a best of bonus.
But it scares me to do that.
No, true.
I haven't hit record yet. So I'm just saying, I don't know if we want Cologuard on my computer. I'm just saying. Okay, here we go. Let's see, 1784. Welcome to episode 1784 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope the week is going well. We have had a roller coaster of temperatures here in the Midwest. It was in the 40s for highs earlier this week on Monday. Going to be 82 today and then back cool this weekend for the Mizzou KU, not KU, but Kentucky. It's not the KU that we talk about here in Missouri. That would be the guys to our west who don't play us anymore, by the way. They're scared of us anyway. So we are going to have some listener questions today, but hope you're having great weather and enjoying your day. And you're taking us along in the car. Maybe you're jogging. Maybe you're cutting the grass one last time. Maybe you're just hanging out in the house, being lazy, doing nothing. So joining me today to answer your listener questions, we have Ricky. She is hanging out all the time over at themouseforless.com. It's where we get our news every Sunday night. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, y'all. It's good to be here. It's Wednesday. So, halfway through the week. Yay!
Yes. Okay, so I got to tell you this because I'm dying to tell somebody this.
All right, let's go.
Now, let me ask you, because you got Disney Plus, right?
Yes, of course.
Are you watching the right stuff?
No. Sorry, Mike. Sorry.
Are you watching the right stuff?
I'm not. No.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
You were killing Mike. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so the right stuff is the book by Tom Wolfe. It's about the Mercury astronauts, the original 7 astronauts. Basically, the book is also Chuck Yeager. Chuck Yeager's not in the series anyway. But the thing is, I'm watching it, and they put out the first 2 episodes a couple weeks ago. Now they're putting out 1 episode a week, and Sunday night after our live show, I sat down and watched episode 3. Now, episode 3 is going to be very, very special to our audience. And I'll tell you why. I was so geeked out by this because, well, and I told Pam I was watching it with my wife, and she's kind of watching it grading paper. She doesn't want to act like she's interested in space stuff, but she was. Because it's kind of a drama. It's not really
Gotcha.
it's technical like the book. It's more relationships and stuff. But so we're watching it, and all these astronauts are hanging out in this hotel down on the Space Coast in Cape Canaveral. And the name of the hotel is the Starlight Hotel. And so if you know Give Kids the World, they built their new ice cream shop. It's called Henry's Starlight Scoops.
Yes.
It's the exact same font because it's to remember Henry in this hotel, because Henry Landworth ran the hotel the astronauts went to.
That's true. That is very, very true.
Same font on the hotel in the episode 3, and as well as on Henry Starlight Scoops. And then it gets even better. So then there's a scene where the astronauts' wives come down to see him for the first test of the Atlas rocket. They're getting drinks at the bar, and who's serving them up? But Henry Landworth is serving up the drinks. And
that's awesome.
Oh, that's crazy. That's so cool.
Henry.
That's so cool.
So yeah, so watch that. If you're watching the right stuff, there's our connection to Give Kids the World, because the first families were brought into that hotel, which eventually turned into Give Kids the World Village. So very, very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Very cool.
And just as a reminder, we are having our live show from Give Kids the World on December 5th. So, just kind of throwing that out there too. So, and also if you have auction items, you can send them to me. You can email me at bogpauction@gmail.com, and I will be happy to assist you in getting those my direction.
All right.
Gotta plug it, right?
Yes, 100%.
6-7 weeks. Cannot wait.
I know. We've got so many great auction items too. So if you're looking to support Give Kids the World by participating in the auction by purchasing auction items, we've got some amazing things that you're going to want to look for. So yeah, we are ready to raise a ton of money for Give Kids the World. So
we're turning 2020 into the most amazing year ever.
Exactly. We're gonna finish it off strong and right. So yes.
All right. Also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, missed you last week. Scotty G though did a pretty good job hanging out with us. He did
good. I'm glad.
Comments on Scotty G. Boy, he knows his stuff.
He does. He goes often enough. He should know his stuff.
He's down in more. He's up in Michigan, I'll say.
Yes, for sure. And this has been an exciting week to be a travel agent, because we recently had the release of the rest of 2021.
Yay!
So now we can book that, which we've had so many guests looking for that. And you can actually make your reservation and make park reservations. So keep all that in mind.
Guess who's going to be there for 50th? Girl. Yes,
I think a lot of people will be. And then 2022, we have some Disney Cruise Line itineraries released and being booked. I mean, we started on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, open, Thursday, open to the general public. So, or Wednesday, open.
No,
Thursday. Yes.
Yeah, Thursday.
I like it. I like it because we're busy enough that I'm losing track of days again.
Yay!
I know I have my stickies like, okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right. I know. I'm like, yes. So anyways, yeah, it's good. I they keep saying there's this pent up demand for travel. So let's make it happen, people.
Yes.
And so just for the record, we talked about this on Sunday night, or this past Sunday night on the live show, which will come out on the feed tomorrow. But we talk about, because Pam mentioned the theme park reservations, which are still going to be in place for 2021. And there is high demand for that late September to early October timeframe. If you're going that week for the 50th, I give the best advice for if you're one of those people who have an annual pass, but say it's going to expire in April or May, you want to make a theme park reservation ASAP. I talk about how we get that done for our guests. So tune in tomorrow to the live show. It's right at the beginning.
I should have probably listened to you.
Again, but yeah, it's very simple. So we can take care of you, and you can still have an AP later. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully my plan works, but I just purchased a 1-day ticket at that point. I was like, I'm going either way. So we'll figure it out later.
Okay. That'll work. But I mean, you want to get it you want to put a ticket on there for all the days you want the reservations right now, and we'll figure it out. If you need help, just let me know, and we'll take care of that. All right, so let's get to the first question. Actually, it's not a question, but it gets back to we had a topic a couple of weeks ago on a Sunday night. One of our listeners wrote in. They're going on a special trip. They gave 4 hotels of different levels, and we had the discussion about which one they should pick and why, because this guest gave pros and cons for every hotel, all 4 of them. And then the listeners called in and gave their best opinions on which hotel to pick. And Beverly from Atlanta writes in with this email. She says, on the October 14th podcast, your guest wanted to know if spending $600 to $900 extra was worth it. That's a lot of money. But if you've got that money sitting there ready to go, I say, spend it on your vacation experience for sure. Our family travels like this. Travel like you mean it. Play ball like you mean it. Bring your A game to it all, because you never know what the future holds. I'm not advocating going into debt, but if the money is there, do it, because you never know when you'll get that chance again. Excuse me. Frankly, the experience is so worth it. She said we had to cancel a lot in 2020. She also lost her aunt unrelated to COVID, so that makes trips more meaningful. We also tried going to a similarly priced resort that was not at Walt Disney World, and we were disappointed. No one does it like Walt Disney World resorts. They are the toughest to beat in terms of hospitality. They too bring their A game. Peace, Beverly. So Pam, I know you've always said this, and I do too. Like, I'd much rather, when people ask me like, okay, what do you want for your birthday? Or what do you want, for Christmas and stuff like that? Of course, usually it's marathon weekend coming up a few weeks later in January. And I always say, you know what? Give me a gift card or something I could spend down at Walt Disney World. Maybe I can do a tour. Maybe I can have some kind of it, because I'm about experiences. And I think you get there, the older you get, it becomes more about experiences than stuff. But I think she's right. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if it's not going to put you in a financial hardship, spend that a little bit of extra money if you are able, and have that special experience. I doubt you to regret it 9 times out of 10.
No, I agree. I think one of the things I've learned is I've never regretted the money that I spent on travel. I may have regretted money that I've spent on other things. I mean, honestly, truly, I probably have. I'm not a person that lives with a lot of regrets, but I will think twice about that and be like, oh, dang, I wish I had not bought that or whatever. But the money that I spend on travel, the money I spend on doing things, the money I spend on having those experiences with the people I care about in my life are things that I've never regretted. It just brings so much to my life. And we've talked about this with the COVID situation, that it has made it a bit more challenging to travel, especially to destinations outside the country. And I really miss that. Like, there are things that I wish I had done before COVID hit. Not that I won't have the chance at a later time, but I wish that I had the chance to do that. And it will be a priority in my life as we open up more and we're able to travel about the world a bit more. I am missing cruising like you cannot believe, really and truly. Like, I want to be on a ship, and I'm going to get a maxed out suite, and I'm going to enjoy my veranda. If that's the only thing I do, and I order room service to my room, I am happy with it. There is something about being there that I am just completely missing.
So the Walt Disney suite is what you're saying, Pam?
Sure.
All right, got it.
Yes, but I mean, I've been lucky enough to be able to go to Walt Disney World a few times since it opened, and I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, I step on Disney property, and no matter what's going on, no matter what the park looks like, whether there's fast passes or no fast passes, character greetings or not, I'm home. I feel it. It is good for my soul. And I know that that will be the same thing about the cruise ships. It will look different. Everything we do looks different. Going to the stupid grocery store looks different, and I still do that. So sign me up. I'm there. As soon as the cruise ships leave, I'll be your guinea pig. Put me on. I'll make it happen. So,
you know what I miss about the cruise ships? And this is so stupid. I miss the rubbery fake wood floor on like deck 11. Like the brown
yes.
in it, and it's supposed to look like wood, I guess, but it's like rubbery so you don't slip. I miss that, and I miss like nights where they have just random kind of it's almost like Disney techno music kind of playing on the top decks, maybe a movie showing as you walk by on television. God, it's not, I love it all. Don't get me wrong. I love the shows, love eating at the restaurants, but I just love wandering the ship. You know, like out in the middle of the ocean.
Wow.
Like it's just it's so great. Oh my gosh,
That's
I need the
true.
cruise to happen.
You know, I bet though they won't do like the all you can eat ice cream like, you know, anymore.
Don't even
Ugh,
say that. What are you?
I'm sorry. It makes me sad though. I enjoyed like going and getting myself one of those little flimsy ice cream cones that's gonna break in 2 seconds once I put it in my mouth.
Maybe they'll have the pre-packaged to take away.
Oh, that I'm in for. Yes.
They've been
Just
doing
give
some
me
creative things.
all the
so.
Mickey bars. That's a much better answer.
Yeah. I don't think they'll eliminate it because they know that that's part of the cruise experience. And I think if there's a way to adapt those things that we've all come to love about the cruise experience, awesome. In fact, I'll give you this. If I'm on one of the ships early, I am happy to give up my seat in the theater because I've seen all the shows many times, and other families can go experience that because, like Mike said, it's just being on the ship, being there, experiencing it. I miss that the most. So,
Yep.
I may have the unofficial record for ice cream cones crushed on a cruise. I'm saying,
you probably do.
Those things do not fill you up. They don't even hit the bottom. And the thing is, the sad thing is, here's what I do. And so does Scott. We're so guilty of this. Like you'll crush one of those ice cream cones. You'll walk right through that little, you know, where the little store is there. You'll like swim in.
And you make your way back around.
You get a piece of it. Like, I need something sweet. You go back. You're like, oh, I need ice cream. Oh my God. It's so bad. It's a wonder you don't gain 50 pounds on a cruise. Okay. Natalie, oh God, really, that makes me miss it so much.
I know.
Natalie got a question in the live chat. If you have a later flight on your checkout day, what do you do with your luggage once it's time to check out of your room, but you still want to go to the parks before you leave? Ricky, what do you do?
Well, normally there would be the luggage assistance, but I think that's currently not taking place right now. Is that right?
No, the resort,
but they just won't send it to the airport. You got to
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I meant. The airport luggage service where they send it to the airport. I figure that you'll still be able to like take it to Bell Services and they can hold it. Yeah, but they won't. You can't do like the before where you could send it, you know, to the airline, you know, service that they would take it to the airline for you, which is sad, but you know, that was super handy back in the day. So hopefully that returns, but yeah, you can still take it to regular Bell Services and they'll be able to take care of you. Perfect.
Speaking of this, Pam, I heard earlier this week that the Swan and Dolphin are going to have Mears bus service and Disney transportation bus service.
I know. I wonder if that was, I mean, I imagine the Swan and Dolphin paid Disney something to have that. And I wonder if Disney was saying, hey, we need the space because of the, you know, our need to socially distance. We're really not going to be able to provide that to you anymore. So then the Swan and Dolphin were just like, you know what, then we'll just go with Mears. I don't know what's behind it. No insider information on this at all, but it'll be interesting to see what people think about the Mears service there moving forward.
I agree. I just wonder if I wonder if they'll be able to be dropped off, like say at the Magic Kingdom in the bus stalls. I'd imagine they're going to drop them off.
I've heard that they have to go to the TTC.
Yeah, they have to drop them off at the charter. There's special spots that charter buses can. So
that's a drag. I mean, that's consider. So.
Agreed.
All right, Andrew is in our live chat, and I just want to get to this right away because I love seeing Andrew here. He's been with us since way back. He's done so much for our show, like our wiki.
Yes,
for sure.
Andrew here. So he says, and dude, Andrew is on another level because I don't even know.
He is.
This is what I love. So he's asking, because we actually talked about this on Sunday Night's live show too, because we talked about Wolfgang Puck Express closing up shop in Disney Springs. We talked about what other restaurants have gone away that you miss. And Andrew's asking, which of these defunct Disney restaurants would you bring back first? Spoodles on the boardwalk, Flagglers at the Grand Floridian. I've never heard of that. Or Fireworks Factory at Downtown Disney / Disney Springs. Never heard of that either. I've only heard of one of the three.
Wow.
I just lost my Disney nerd card.
You did lose your Disney nerd card.
Oh, so sad.
I've heard of two of them, so I haven't heard of Flagglers either.
Flagglers? You know Flagglers?
Yes.
Was that Narcoosse's or Citricos or?
Now that's really tasking my brain. I cannot remember whether it was Narcoosse or was it the Grand Floridian
Cafe?
I'm not sure, and I will say I ate at Spoodles, which I actually really liked. It had I think they called it sort of Mediterranean food. And I always thought the food there was really good. I think the Trattoria is good, and particularly their breakfast is good. I am not the hugest fan of dinner there. I think it's fine. I really do. But I think the thing is, we probably all have an Italian restaurant near us that's really good, or we have a mom or an aunt or someone who cooks really good Italian food, right? So I don't get that excited about it. Although I will say charcuterie, I get very excited about.
Dang it. Dang it. Yes.
So I mean, they do have that, but yes. I think that I would be very interested in bringing back Spoodles. I think it was just something different. It really, truly was. And they just, I don't know. I think we're missing that. I think we're missing that type of cuisine.
There's really no Mediterranean restaurant. You're right.
Not really. I mean, except for Morocco.
Yeah.
That has some of that. But yes, I know.
Mediterranean somewhere at Disney Springs. What about Paradiso 37? They have everything.
No, but there's it's like the Americas. So it's like South America and so it's not, that's definitely not Mediterranean.
Probably back in the Pangea times, like,
well, yes, then it was, yes. We're not there.
And Andrew follows up Flagler's with Citricos. It changed in 19.
Thank you, Andrew, for telling us. Yes.
Wow.
What's interesting about that restaurant, too, is that there are a few places where you can sit there and have a good view of the castle. That's not what it's known for, and it's not really on the list of places that you can sit there and see the castle and dine at, but there are some good locations. So.
All right, let's get to Mary here in the inbox. She is one of my great guests over at the Magic for Less. She says, Mike, now that I have a trip booked, the planning has begun. Can you, Ricky, and Pam tell me more about the Hoop-De-Doo review? Are they planning on reopening? Is this a nightly show? How's the entertainment and food? Is it unlimited food and alcohol? What is the best mode of transportation if minivans don't make a comeback? Any more information is a plus. Thank you for all you guys do and keeping me positive during these times. Mary. Well, Mary, you keep me positive during these times. We're right in. I appreciate that so much. So Hoop-De-Doo, awesome. One of the original things. I mean, this thing's been going on forever. Of course, not right now, but until COVID. Over at Fort Wilderness, the food is amazing, but it's like it's like having Trails Inn, basically. They share a kitchen. Mm-hmm. So you get fried chicken, all those countrysides. Was like mac and cheese, possibly. I can't remember. I ate it so fast. I know strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake.
Oh my God, this stuff is so good. That's all
baked beans,
ribs. I think, right? Yeah.
Did they have ribs? Maybe. I know that you got the tablecloths are like the red and white checker. The show is, I mean, it's like in the Midwest. I mean, it's like something you'd see in the Ozarks, like Silver Dollar City, like an old country. Everybody gets together. People sing. They encourage the audience. Well, they used to encourage the audience all join in and sing. They would get out into the audience and celebrate anniversaries and birthdays and really work the room. It is a very, very Disney experience, which I think every Disney fan should have. Let's see. So that's unlimited food. Yeah, it's all you can eat. Alcohol, I think.
Yes.
It is.
Beer and sangria.
And like sangria.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Who knows what it'll be.
Sure.
Yeah. And then as far as getting there, the best way to get there outside of like a, Uber or Lyft, because Fort Wilderness, they're going to drop you off at the front. You're going to take an internal bus back to the settlement. But you could also just go to the Magic Kingdom and catch a boat. Mm-hmm. That'd be another kind of fun way. And it is nightly, usually it used to be 3 times a night, but again, it'll probably come back when it does, probably once a night. And then its way in, I would guess. Mm-hmm. So I would highly recommend Hoop-De-Doo. Ricky, have you done it? I've done it like 3 times.
That's one I haven't done. I've done Trails Inn lots of times, but I've not done Hoop-De-Doo. Actually, I've never done any of the dinner shows at Walt Disney World, to be perfectly honest. So
you never did the luau? I've done the luau 3 or 4 times. I love those. I'm a sucker for dinner and a show.
I've done luau's like in Hawaii, but I've never done them at Walt Disney World. So, or at Universal. I think Universal has a luau type experience too.
They do.
Yep.
So, do they have a fire swinging guy with a stick?
I think they do.
I think that's kind of the luau. Yeah,
that's kind of the whole thing. Yeah.
Pig with like on the rail kind of thing with like a
pig is my favorite. I'm so in. I miss
we
roast pig.
We're gonna meet up with George. We got to get the pig on the stick with the and a fire guy.
So good. There's nothing like roast pig like that. I will just say it's so good. So.
Okay, next question from Andrea Taylor in the live chat. Would you recommend driving to Hollywood Studios or taking the Skyliner from Pop? We're going to try to get a boarding pass for Rise. I'm going to say, may the force be with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
I've successfully done this. I did have to color my hair again after that morning because it took 5 years off my life, but I did successfully get boarding groups. This was in August. The thing is, if you're going to take the Skyliner and be there for the 10 o'clock boarding group, which I recommend, you want to be at the front of that Skyliner line at Pop Century. And here's why. You got to remember when the Skyliner starts running, and it's usually only about 30 to 45 minutes before the park opens. So it'll be the studios because it opens before Epcot right now. So you want to be at the front of that line, which means you're going to be out. You need to be out there probably at least an hour before the Skyliner opens because that line's going to fill quick. And the thing is, the Skyliner eats that line like super quick. Even if it's a long line, people are going to get on. But I'm just saying, for your mental health, be at the front of the line. Grab something to eat, sit down, be in line, and be ready so that you're up to the front of the group. Because Pop Century and Art of Animation, you're going to take that first jump over to Caribbean Beach. Then you got to disembark, and you got to get at the back of the line for Caribbean Beach because you got to remember that line's building at Caribbean Beach at the same time it's building at Pop Century. Then you get on it again. And I mean, the thing is, the flight times on the Skyliner are like 5 minutes each. You're just boom, boom. Once you're in the bucket, you're good. But it's just getting through the line. So yes, I would take the Skyliner, but I would not try to say, let's sleep in an extra 10 minutes. That is not the day to do that. Make sure you're out there early, and you can successfully do it because the thing is, parking lots don't open that early to drive. So it's like you can get in the parking lot 2 hours early. Now, also the thing is, just from what we're seeing on social media and from friends that have been there over the last couple of weeks, you might be able to get in the studios at about 9:15. Just saying, they push people in early. So get there as early as you can. So that might be a case for driving. I don't know, Pam. This is kind of it's a Sophie's choice because there's, it's a crapshoot sometimes.
It is, and there's not a great choice right now. I will just say that it just is what it is. And honestly, I would Uber over or Lyft over. I really would. I know that the parking lot only opens at a certain time, but I would just feel more in control of my destiny. I think that the other thing that makes it challenging is the Skyliner is not. I will not say it's not like the slightest storm and the Skyliner stops. It's not. That's not the case at all. But there are weather factors that can impact the Skyliner that would mean it's just not running. And then they would be diverting buses and moving them over there. Now, Disney is good at this, but I just feel like for the $15, if this is a priority in my life, I'm going to make it happen somehow. So that's what I'm going to do. And even if the parking lot is not open, I may Uber over to, let's say, the Yacht Club and then walk over to it.
What if that morning you had an ADR for breakfast at Ale and Compass?
There you go.
Super early, you get filled up with a good breakfast because you can do that with a 10 o'clock opening.
Yeah,
you sure can.
Breakfast at like 8 o'clock. You're done by 9. Leisurely stroll. Boom. You're right there. That'd be a great.
It's actually a really good idea. I'm surprised you came up with it, Mike.
No, I was just filling in the little.
Gotcha. Yes.
He was reading between the lines.
He was. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I know, but that's it. Then and this really, I think, depends on the kind of person you are. If you're like a go with the flow kind of person and you're like, you know what, it's going to work or whatever, you know what I mean? Then I think that it's much easier for you. I know Mike. I know how Mike gets when he's waiting for something to happen that he wants to have happen. And he wants to be in control of his destiny. That's kind of how, it's just how it happens. Just different people are more intense about it than others. So if you're intense about it and you want it to happen, do one of these things. So
the thing is, though, with that, look, when I was getting in line over at Pop Century, and we got in line the line when we got in, it was Scott and Mallory. We were down in early August. This is what the crowds weren't. They're really, really low back then because only 3 weeks after the parks opened, but we got in line way back by a bowling pin in the 50s.
Wow.
I mean, we were way back there. And the whole thing is like knowledge kills you in this case. Cause I knew all I was picturing in my head is I knew once the thing opened, we'd start moving quickly, but I knew we had to go to Caribbean Beach and I knew people were getting in line and I can't get in that line until I get there, So like, I can't even be proactive on that until we hit that, the change point. So that was, I would just go to the Yacht Club, have a meal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a win-win.
That is a win-win. Yes.
Win-win-win.
Get the chocolate waffles. They're delicious.
All righty, let's see here. We have another question. Do we have any ideas about when Festival of the Arts dates might be announced? Ricky, traditionally,
Gosh.
do they announce? I mean, it usually starts right after Marathon Weekend. So, I mean, we can only go on the past.
Yeah.
It usually starts around mid-January.
Yeah, I mean, when they'll be announced, no idea at this point. I mean, they could be announced, already because, we were quarterly, so it could be announced this week, or it could be a couple weeks from now, whatever. I would say, oh gosh, I would say Marathon Weekend was supposed to be the 8th, right? So I would say that 15th window, somewhere around January 15th, would probably be kickoff, and then it would probably last probably until the 20th of February, if I had to take a guess. They usually have maybe the 27th, but they usually have like a week or so or two kind of buffer zone between that and the Flower and Garden Festival. And I highly suspect Flower and Garden will kick off like somewhere around the 3rd or the 5th of March. So that's just me guessing based off of past knowledge.
Well, we did when we talked about this on Sunday night in the news is that we do now know that November 22nd is the end for Food and Wine, for the longest Food and Wine.
Yes.
And the Festival of the Holidays over at Epcot will start on the 27th.
Correct.
For my birthday.
Yes. And right now, I think I'll be there on the 27th. So we'll see.
My birthday. You have to FaceTime me for my birthday.
I will. There you go. Yes.
Don't forget. Okay. Jason Green in the live chat asks, could a surprise fireworks happen for Christmas?
No.
And New Year's.
Nope.
Is it still the hours? I mean, Epcot, what I've seen, the Epcot's closing right now at 8:00 and
yeah.
on New Year's Eve.
I don't see it happening.
They did change the hours as we move into winter a little bit to have them be open a little later.
Yes.
So that there are possibilities. I think it's just I think we just don't know what will happen. I really don't. I think that as we move forward, there will continue to be changes and there'll continue to be entertainment offerings that they aren't having right now. I think it would be challenging for them to offer fireworks like we have seen it in the past, but I also think that there are opportunities for Disney to look at perhaps different areas where people could stand for fireworks or whatever. So I don't know. Like Disney's been pretty creative, I think, in the way that they've addressed some of these issues that they're having with crowd control. So, I'm gonna cross my fingers that they keep moving forward and they just keep doing something. I'm sure they have smart people thinking overtime on stuff like this for sure. So.
And the thing is, if you follow the social media, like BioReconstruct has been taking a lot of pictures with the drone of Harmonious kind of backstage, and it looks like they're really making. I mean, under normal circumstances, Harmonious would be playing right now because it's October 2020.
It depends. I mean, they never really announced. They never really announced when they were going to do it, though.
They were unofficially gearing up for summer, and so I would imagine it would be.
I suspect they would. I suspect they are probably still gearing up for the 50th, but. That's just me.
Oh no, I think this would have happened by now. But I don't maybe. But I mean, the thing is they're making progress on that in Epcot. If you think about Epcot, with the fireworks show being in the round around the lagoon, I think that's the place where you could still, if you again remember, you're still having the park at 25% capacity, so it's X amount of people. I think that at 25% capacity at Epcot, which is still quite a bit of people because it's a big park.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that is a place where it's easier to have a nighttime show than a Magic Kingdom where you have people all pushing into the hub. You know what I'm saying? You don't have people typically watching fireworks in Frontierland or Adventureland or Tomorrowland.
But if there was some reason like where you could encourage people to do that in a way that was like, okay, these spots are full. We have viewing areas available in Frontierland or you know what I mean? Something like that. So I don't know. I think that there's a reason why Disney continues to move forward with Harmonious, and that's because they foresee a time when there is going to be a way to do this. And I think that that's just the thing. We got to keep moving toward that and thinking about that, I think.
Yeah, in our football games, I mean, we have limited capacity for Mizzou, and on our hill where we normally have season tickets, these are for the poor people that want season tickets. Like you just go in and you pull up with some grass, you know what I'm saying? You don't have a seat. You just sit your butt on
Right.
you're happy. But now, because of limited capacity, they've actually, with white paint, there's like squares on the hill.
Yeah.
And like, you have to sit in your square, it's like 30 squares.
Get back in your square.
And on the football games, like when I'm watching on TV, like 90% of the boxes are empty. I'm like, that could be my grass.
Right.
Drives me crazy. Like, at least if I can't be there, they should be full. Somebody should be taking advantage of it. But anyway,
Right? Yeah.
I'm going this Saturday, by the way. I got some more tickets. So I get to
Oh,
go to my
yay!
There you go.
That's
my
awesome.
brother and sister-in-law. All right, another question from the inbox. First time at Disney on Christmas. Hey, Mike, Pam, and Ricky, we are veteran Disney travelers, but this is our first time going over Christmas. My husband has always wanted to wake up at Disney and be in the Magic Kingdom on Christmas Day. He wants to see the parade. No, just kidding. I added that.
Don't do that to me, Mike. Don't
do that. It's Ricky going. So I
was like, oh no. Okay.
As a big Disney fan, knowing the crowds, I've always said I would never go over Christmas. This has been a rough year. We started in January with me breaking my ankle and having to cancel a February Disney trip, which we rescheduled for April.
Oh.
Then, global pandemic. A couple of weeks ago, my 50-year-old husband had a heart attack. Thankfully, everything's okay, but I really want him to have his dream of waking up at Disney on Christmas. So, with COVID lower crowds and not being with family this year, we are gonna do it. I know there are not the usual holiday festivities, but can you guide a first-time Christmas visitors with things to do and not to miss? Thanks so much. I love the podcast and can't get enough. Jennifer is in Derry, New Hampshire, but it's beautiful up there right now. New Hampshire. Wow.
I love it.
Okay, so first time going to Disney
That's
for
awesome.
Christmas. We could just inundate her, but 2020 edition, Pam. Start off. What's not to miss? Because I mean, we could say Christmas parties or
Right.
Christmas time at Christmas fireworks. That stuff isn't happening. So what's not to miss?
So I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to with Christmas this year is that they are going to be doing castle projections on the Magic Kingdom castle. So that's something new. That's something different. Even, I think that is a great thing, whether you haven't been there at the holidays or you've been there many times, that so many people are going to be looking at what is Disney doing? Now, that they are going to have 100 different Disney treats that you can get. I mean, every park and we're talking more than cupcakes, people. There will be many cupcakes.
Gingerbread men. That's going to be gingerbread people.
Right.
Gingerbread or just
for
whoever.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. They are, yes. And so there'll be a list on the Mouse for Less as soon as that information is released.
Absolutely.
We know how much people want to hear about the different food offerings. Disney really has done a good job of sort of spreading those out at different locations throughout the different parks. And I love that too, that they've made more of an effort like this. The different seasonal treats were really big in California before they became a big thing at Walt Disney World. And I always thought when we would go to California and have all these treats, like, why isn't Walt Disney World doing this? Well, hello. At some point they were like, hello, we need Disney treats. We need seasonal Disney treats.
People like nice foods. Let's do it. Let's try it.
Yes, right. People love that. So make sure you take advantage of it. And they're fun things. Like in the past, they've done some really fun things too. So make sure you take a look at that. Now, Disney does a great job of decorating. I think that this year it will probably be a little different. The decorations will be different than they have been in the past. They don't want a lot of people queuing around and gathering to see them. But I think that there will be decorations. They've already said the gingerbread houses are not happening this year. So don't look for that. But we do understand why that's happening. I still think the resorts, though, will have some beautiful decor. They always do. It's just, it's so nice to see that. And I think one of the things that being at Disney over the holidays really makes possible is you don't have to run around cooking, cleaning, preparing for your family's arrival, all of those other things. You have the opportunity to just focus on spending time with your family. And I love that about the holidays at any Disney destination. It really allows me to focus on the meaning of that holiday. And I'm grateful for it. So I think you'll go and you'll just have a fantastic time. You have to, like, once you get back, you have to let us know how it all went, because we want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something to be said for, I was riding with Mallory in the car last night in the Jeep. I forgot where we were going, but I joked with her. I was like, we can almost turn the Christmas music on. We're getting closer. Like, it's getting a little cold. It's almost, she's like, it's not even Halloween, but she's with me. She loves Christmas music. She's like, it's too early. And I'm like, I'm just kidding. But that being said, in 2020, I think we're going to appreciate things like just the fact that you can be in a hotel, or, in a hotel with a nice Christmas tree in some, maybe you're staying at a place that's, got, just the theme decorations outside of the Christmas tree, just around the lobby, but it's the Christmas music. And like you said, Pam, being detached from just watching all the news, like not having the COVID numbers hitting you over the head for 4 or 5 days, and just being able to, what you hear, instead of negative going into your brain, you hear, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow, or it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, just the music that we love. Just being in that fan, because here's another benchmark. We've been seeing things that we're looking for progress into the future. Disney now has a commercial out, because you see it a lot during football on ESPN, because they're owned by the same company. Is that it's that let the or something, magic is blank, and it's like flying and family and all that stuff, and it's a holiday commercial. And God, if they don't get me every single time with their commercials, I'm like, I got to be down there for Christmas, because it's so wonderful. It is, even with the stuff missing.
It is.
Yeah, it is. There's something about it. There's a feeling. Disney is more than a destination. It really is a feeling, and it evokes a lot of different feelings, I think, in people when they when they're there. I think that when I think about the milestones that have happened for our family, or that we celebrated with our family there, it's just a really special place. And I think that this year we all feel like we deserve a little something. So I think, we deserve a little something extra, right? A little something that we're like, you know what? I deserve that this year. So I can see it happening for a lot of people.
I just think I would be happier than I've ever been, just walking down Main Street with the Christmas background loop playing, maybe snow, maybe the projected snowflakes on the Main Street buildings, just seeing the wreaths. That is one of the things that I think 2020 has really kind of at least brought home to me. I don't know how everybody feels. I can't speak for everybody else, but it's one of those things that, God, you know what? I'm going to appreciate just people putting up Christmas lights in the neighborhood. I'm going to take more time to look at that. I'm going to take more time to listen to Christmas music, maybe cut back. Well, I shouldn't say cut back on podcasts. Do not do that. But I almost killed myself. What am I doing?
Way to ruin it, Mike.
I want to embrace the season. And if we don't have everything, which we're not going to have everything this year, I'm going to double down on the things that we do have and enjoy them much more. So I think that could be true of a Disney vacation. So Ricky, I know that you're really into the decorations. Like, if the studios puts up those retro things, I would eat that up and just enjoy it as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is going to be different. And I am usually there on Christmas every single year lately. I've been in a Disney park when one way or another. Haven't done the Magic Kingdom, actually. So maybe that's this year's goal. But there's something, you're right, that's so special about this year for Christmas. I think it's really going to be just, you're right, drinking the holiday in for the first time probably in a long time, since we were kids, like really just enjoying it the way it's meant to be, not having to run from here to there to this different Christmas party to, this different event, and just really enjoying the day and the festivities. I feel like that's going to be key for so many people. So I hope you enjoy your Magic Kingdom Christmas, because it's going to be amazing, either way. So it's going to be a great time.
I mean, shoot, we've all had a rough 2020, but you've had a rough one, on top.
Yeah,
so.
no kidding. Yes. So really enjoy it. You're going to have a great time. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the questions for today. We'll get to the next questions in the inbox next Wednesday. But if you have a question, email that to mike@beourguestpodcast.com. Put listener question in the title, the subject line there, and we'll get it on the show right away. Also, you can join us on Facebook or YouTube at around 5:45 on Mondays. Eastern time, and be part of the show. Don't forget, today's show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Pam addressed this at the top of the show, but no kidding. You're a Disney fan, right? You're listening to a Disney podcast. You are invested. You need to be there. It's a once in a lifetime event. We were there on the 40th at the Magic Kingdom, right?
Yep.
We were there.
We were there.
It was crazy.
That's where Disney Anarchy came into play.
Exactly.
Yes, it is.
But it was awesome. Like
Yes, it was.
I still have my button that we got on the 40th Magic Kingdom. We saw wheelchairs going over Iron Gate fences. It was crazy.
He's not lying. We actually did.
I saw a wheelchair go over a fence, but it was all good. They just everybody picked the person up and they were good. I mean, I was getting ready to go over a fence. I just went, yeah. But you know what? You're a Disney fan. You want to be there because you don't want to hear it secondhand. You want to be like, God, I can't believe what I saw. It was crazy. Yep. It's going to be fun. You know what? You want to be there. It's a place where it all started, and 50 years later, let's all celebrate together. So we can book those. You know what? And we've done this for millions of shows. I'm not kidding. I did go back and listen to the podcast from last Friday. Ricky, you said, because we're doing the calendar considerations, right?
Yeah.
You said we were talking about October. You said, well, we can't book these yet. And of course, it came out before the show came out.
Yeah, because that's always what happens.
We speak things into
we absolutely speak things into fruition. That's why I said they will probably announce that the Epcot Festival of the Arts is happening on these dates. And, that's why I said it. Yeah.
I said there it was. Anyway, get that trip on the books because we talked about this on Sunday night too. $200 and you have your dream for the next year. You know what I'm saying? Like put down a $200 deposit, you're guaranteed, and you can get that theme park reservation. As soon as you make that deposit, it's like that lottery ticket. You got the dream till next October 1st. Like you're going to be there. You're locked in. And you know what? If things change, you can always cancel, get the deposit back. But now's the time to lock in that 50th anniversary trip. So just email me over at mike.rallman@themagicforless.com. We'll take good care of you. Just drop by the Magic for Less, start your trip planning, quote forms, mention the show, and we'll all be there. We'll have to do some kind of a meetup. That'll be fun.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
I'm almost 50. I'm getting close.
Oh, no. No.
I was born in 73 and Walt Disney World was born in 71.
Wow.
That's kindred spirit.
That's scary right there.
Oh, I know. Oh, God. I feel like I'm 22. So that's crazy. Anyway, check them out at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Become a patron of the show. Shout out to all of our patrons. You guys are awesome. You're keeping this going, and I appreciate that so much. You can get Mike in the Midwest every Thursday. Just go over to patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Follow us on the social media, Instagram and Twitter at beourguestpod and at beourguestmike. And of course, Facebook and YouTube, just search for the Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, time to get out of here. We're going to be back on Friday, and we're talking about the other half of the year. We're going to talk calendar considerations from April to September. What do you need to know? What's the best month or best week out of each of those months? What are the festivals going on? What are the hidden holidays you want to avoid? All that stuff coming your way on Friday. So until then, for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Say that one.
Yay.
This other one shouldn't be as long. I don't think.
We said that the last time we did this, and it was.
We were going to do the whole year that time, remember?
That's true. We were going to do the whole year. Yes.
That was 1784. Edited. That'll work. And is it gray outside today? It just looks.
Sun's starting to go down here.
It's been dark all day. It's just been drizzly, cold, nasty.
Yeah, it's not. It's been horrible here.
Oh, sorry. It was beautiful here.
It was like that yesterday too, and like Pam made chili in the crock pot. Man, it was perfect.
Nice.
Love that.
That's awesome.
I made pot pie.
Oh.
It takes forever to make. That's why I get it at a restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. No, I last time I cooked a chicken, I had it all like sitting there ready to dump into the crust.
Oh my gosh,
anyway.
that sounds amazing.
So good.
That sounds really good. Yes. Yes.
I know. And homemade pot pie is the best. So
yes, it is. Okay, here we go. 1786. Welcome to episode 1786 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents. We're over at the Magic for Less Travel. That's right. Happy Friday to you. We've made it to another weekend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you have some big plans. I'll be heading out to Columbia, Missouri to watch our Mizzou Tigers take on the Kentucky Wildcats. And they had a big game last Saturday. They wiped out Tennessee, and they're a pretty good team. So, sorry, Kentucky, your party's over. We're going to take care of you like we did LSU. I'm not predicting a win, though. I'm not going that far. I want to. I did that with the LSU game, but I got to be careful. I don't want to do it all the time. It'll be a good game. I'll be out there cheering on my Tigers. I'm just excited for that. So, joining me today to talk Disney, we're diving into the calendar, helping you plan a better vacation. We have Ricky from
Nope.
She's from the mouseforless.com, and the tie-in to today's show is the website that Ricky always updates with all these seasonal events. It's going to help you and help us on today's show plan a better vacation. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, there you go. Yes. Yeah. So definitely check out the Mouse for Less for, all your latest. We have the latest updates for all the annual events. And, of course, we have the latest news too. We have lots of great tips and money saving suggestions too. So there's just a ton of great help on the Mouse for Less. And if you're not checking us out, where have you been? Come on, themouseforless.com. We're friendly.
We use the news tab. We start every live show on Sunday nights. We take the calls. We do the call-in show from 7 to 8 Eastern, and we always start off with the news, top of the show from the Mouse for Less. There's a little tab
there.
Yeah,
See, yep, we make it real easy for you to get your latest news. So, yes.
Hey, is the Disney World After All.com still around? Or
I actually do still own it. So
okay, just wondering.
Yeah, I still own it. It's fine. Yeah,
it's like a GeoCity site, like my thing.
No, it's still up. It's like I think the last time I updated it was like 2016 or something. I don't know, but I do still own it. So
I'm so tempted. Speaking of how much things have changed, like we have live call-in shows from like back in 2010. Like I'm so tempted to go back and publish one of those just so we can see what we were talking about. Like,
oh my gosh,
we were taking calls. That was back on the Live 365 station.
Yes,
wow.
And when we started that show, just a little inside baseball for all the people who are kind of like me, like I love the behind the scenes stuff. When we started the call-in show, so we still had a landline at my house. And so I had what was called like a phone toaster from the radio station, and you plugged actually a physical landline into this thing. It turned the signal into digital.
Oh my gosh.
So that I could hear it. And so I gave out my home phone number.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
I gave out my home phone number. So that was crazy. Like
That's
a light
too funny.
Push a button and you'd be on the air. It was so great. Oh
That's too funny. Oh my gosh.
Show a long time. I'll have to find one of those and publish it somewhere.
That's
All right.
funny.
Also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, we have been podcasting for quite a while.
Oh my gosh, we're like the seniors of podcasting at this point. I mean, when you think about it, most podcasts don't last this long. So I guess that's a credit to people being willing to listen to us and put up with us for so long.
Or the credit of the three of us trying just like, let's just get together and talk some Disney stuff.
Well, I mean, it's very nice. I love having the opportunity to get to do this, but yeah, so we have been doing this for a long time. Let's just say that we have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. If you think about the stuff that was around and the stuff that wasn't around when we started the show, think about like if we would have said in 2000, because we started the show in March of 2008. So early on in 2000. Right. And the thing is, like, if we'd have had terms like theme park reservations, even magic bands, like you'd have been like, what are you talking about in 2008? And, those have actually kind of lived their lifespan. Like they're going away for the most part.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. I know. Crazy. So anyways, I don't know. We'll take it. It, right? We'll take it as a good sign. I'm glad that you all still want to hear from us. And I love when we hear like, I found your show because someone recommended it to me. I don't know if people are out there writing little, like, I recommend this podcast notes or something, but it's awesome if you're the OG of recommending podcasts, but we appreciate it. Really. The support is overwhelming. So awesome.
It is. That's what Lisa says here in the live chat. You mean the OGs of podcasting?
Yeah, we'll take the OGs. Yes, that's awesome.
the something Geritol. I don't know. Yeah, seriously, how people find us. I love finding that out. That is one of the cool things. Somebody on our podcast, he was on the show 2 weeks ago on the Monday show, found our podcast. They were talking about it on a Facebook group that was for the spouses of doctors Facebook group. And they were getting ready. Somebody was talking about going to Disney and they said, well, yeah, listen to the show. And I'm like, there's a spouses of doctors Facebook group. And you were talking about the podcast.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
So cool. Like, that is so cool. It's just, she was just like, oh, I did an iTunes search, or something like that.
I too, I'm really curious as to how people find us. So it's one of the more interesting things of learning, how people discover our little show. So
I appreciate it. Seriously, anytime you guys listen, it means the world. And spread, if you could retweet or let people know you're listening, that helps even more, because you never know. Like I pick up shows that way all the time on Twitter.
I know. A recommendation, a personal recommendation is so valuable. It just really, really is. So we appreciate it.
All right, so let's dive into the calendar and let's talk. So we started the show last Friday with hashtag Scotty G. Speaking of social media and hashtags, he filled in, did a great job of talking October to March with us last week. And what we're doing is we're kind of dissecting the calendar. And this again came about from one of our listeners in Australia. She was getting ready to plan a 3-week trip, wanted to know whether to come in November or I think it was February. And we wanted to give her some advice, not only on like the major festivals, but if you're somebody that's an international traveler or somebody who's not careful, like Ricky, you could come over like a Martin Luther King weekend where the crowds tend to be very high.
Or Columbus Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever you're calling it. You know what? You could come during one of those, I call it kind of like a hidden holiday, like holidays you might not expect. And all of a sudden you're like, why is the whole world, like Jersey Week? Like if you're from Australia, you're like, Jersey Week, what's Jersey? I didn't even know what Jersey Week was until I became a Disney fan. It's like you always heard about it on message boards. I'm like, what is if you tell somebody Jersey Week, they're like, what are you talking about? Because they just got like medical marijuana in St. Louis. Like yesterday, they have the new dispensary. So like, did you go visit, Mike? I don't know, because you're talking about Jersey Week. No. I'm going to set up a Girl Scout cookie stand right outside the store to see.
Smart.
Little side hustle. Anyway, so Ricky, let's dive into.
This took a weird turn as per usual.
Yeah, right. What was the show about?
Did we talk about Disney or?
Side hustles, man. It's 2020. You can't just have one hustle. You got to have something on the side. So Girl Scout cookies.
You got to have more than one side hustle, apparently.
Right. All right, Ricky. So April.
Yes.
Now, we talked about last week or last Friday, March and February. Great time to go down because spring training is going on.
Yes.
It's wrapped up at this point because baseball typically is starting in April. So they've broken camp in Florida. So that's gone. But why go in April? Let's kind of talk. Let's start there.
So the weather's gorgeous, I will say. So that's a big plus. You also have the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, which is in mid full swing at that point. So the flowers, they're little buds in like March, and but by April they really start to flower. Get it? Anyway, that was a stupid joke. I'm sorry.
You get much reaction, so move on.
I lost. It's fine. Wait, they really start to bud? Nope. Okay. Anyway, so
it's just a bad dad joke.
It's just
went from bad to worse. Keep going.
It's fine. So anyway, it's gorgeous. It's really starting to be just the perfect time for the Flower and Garden Festival. So you have that to think about. You also have the Star Wars half marathon, which tends to happen in April as well. Now this does fluctuate depending on the year and depending on when spring break is, because spring break is also a lot of times in April. It will depend on when Easter falls. So if Easter falls in March, spring breaks will tend to be more in March. But if it falls in April, you get kind of that mix of March and April spring break. So it's a little harder to pinpoint. But the half marathon for Star Wars, that also kind of shifts because of when Easter falls and when everything takes place. So again, Easter is one of those things to think about. That is always a busy weekend. So I would absolutely avoid the Easter weekend. It's kind of like Christmas, super busy, super packed. But another day that people don't kind of think about, but is a really fun day to be at Walt Disney World, is actually on Earth Day, which is April 22nd. And that's because it's Animal Kingdom's birthday. So the park opened on April 22nd, 1998. And so the park usually has these festivities that they do to celebrate, both Earth Day as well as Animal Kingdom's birthday. It's not like usually a big celebration, but they'll do some smaller things, some smaller activities to kind of like tie in. Yes, a cupcake, exactly. There's always a cupcake. And the bigger the anniversary, the more they tend to do. But it's still kind of, it's not as grand as some other things, but they do some really cool stuff on Earth Day, I have to say. So.
What I would do to celebrate Earth Day at Walt Disney World is I go over to Pop Century and I get the worms in dirt.
Yes. Well, a lot of times I think they have that dessert too, for somewhere at Animal Kingdom that day. So yeah.
Perfect. I mean, you got like your ground up Oreo cookie. You got a little chocolate pudding, and you got some gummy worms. Oh,
gummy worms. I love it. Yes.
Worms in dirt. Okay, so real quick, I did look. Easter Sunday is April 4th for 2021, so that is early. So, Pam, what else? Tax day. How about tax day? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's on the calendar. I mean, April. Do you tend to go in April? I mean, it's a great time. Again, we mentioned like February and March are key for people like us that are up in the north. Like you just want to see something green. You just want to see out of the gray, the melted snow, and all that junk. But April, you're starting to turn the corner where families, I think a lot of times will either go early or kind of miss like late April and May because a lot of folks might be holding out to schools getting out. But again, who knows in 2021 what's going to look like.
What's going to happen. And plus the fact that so many people can work from anywhere and do school from anywhere.
Yeah.
Impacting that. But yeah, April's such a great time to go because even though it's getting warmer here, and warmer in lots of parts of the country that saw winter, you can go there and you can swim. And that's not something that we can do in the parts of the country that had, snow. There are lots of opportunities for that. And there's real opportunities to see the sun. Like every day you wake up and it's beautiful and sunny. So we love that. And I think that Disney just looks so great during this time of year. First of all, Epcot because of the festival that's going on, but also just because things look really green and lush at this time of year. Like everything is reawakening, as they say. So love that.
So if I had to pick I'm looking at the month of April. If I had to pick in 2021, like the ideal time to go, I would pick that last week, like the 25th to May 1st. Now there are, just so you know, we're going to talk about this a lot in May, but you have dance competitions going on at the end of April. Now, the dancers, though, for the most part, tend to have their stuff focused over at Coronado Springs because they have the big convention center. And you guys, I don't think people realize how big that convention center is at Coronado Springs if you've never gone into that part of the resort. But I mean, it was big enough for all those basketball teams to practice and put full-size courts in the ballrooms. So they can host competitions there for dancers with not an issue at all. It's gigantic. But yeah, I would like the end of April because you're 2 weeks removed from Easter and you're also a week removed from Star Wars, which Star Wars is one of the smaller races. It's not going to impact it too much. But yeah, I would go. And also most spring breaks will be over by then.
Agreed. Yeah.
We'll go last week. So let's move on to May. All right, Pam. So talk to us about May down at Walt Disney World. What do we got to consider there?
Well, again, the Flower and Garden Festival, we hope, will still be going on. So it's still a great time to travel there. In fact, Disney has extended that Flower and Garden Festival so it goes all the way through June. So that's something to keep in mind. Usually early June, but still June at that point. The other thing is that they offered a lot of seasonal events, special events during that time. We don't know when we'll see them back, but they had things like the Disney After Hours and H2O Glow Nights and things like that available. I hope at some point we'll get to see those things come back too. So that's something that you could look forward to. The other thing is Mother's Day weekend is going to be happening that day. And that doesn't have a huge impact on crowds, except for some of the local folks, of course, want to take their mom over to one of the parks for Mother's Day. And hello, if I lived in Florida, that's what I'd want to do on Mother's Day. So I think that happens. But again, I've been there many times on Mother's Day. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't get that much busier. The thing that does get busy, though, is restaurant reservations for brunch in particular are going to be challenging. So get on that early if you're going to be taking anyone to breakfast or brunch during that weekend. I don't know why Mother's Day gets brunch. Like, why is that a traditional Mother's Day thing? Brunch. I don't know.
My wife likes to sleep in. You know what I'm saying? Like, if chance, and that way you can sleep in and still get the grub
I
up.
see. All right. I get it. Okay. All right. So I sort of get it now.
All right. Yeah.
And then the other thing, of course, is Cinco de Mayo.
You got mine. It's going to be mine. That is my jam. I've been there a couple of times. It's awesome.
Right. And so that doesn't impact a lot of things, except it does impact Cava in the Mexico Pavilion. You may see lines stretch out the building. It does happen sometimes. It really does. It also is going to impact, even like Maya Grill and other locations like that. You're absolutely going to see an increase in some of the counter service locations with a more, Mexican flair, I think. So, but those are what you're going to see. There's not going to be, again, a lot of, impact crowd wise that you'd want to avoid, but you may want to make sure that you're participating in the Cinco de Mayo festivities. Hello.
Yes.
So, if you're walking around World Showcase on Cinco de Mayo without a margarita in your hand, you're doing it wrong. I'm just saying. You're
sorry, I've done it wrong. My bad.
You are doing it wrong.
Because I don't drink. So, no margaritas for me.
I don't judge. I'm just saying, though, because I don't drink a lot, but I did I just happened to be there for Cinco de Mayo for Mallory's cheerleading competition a couple of years ago. And, I was like, oh, my God, we're here in the Cinco de Mayo. So I was like rope dropping the Mexico thing in line at 10 o'clock.
Right.
Had it in my hand at 11. And then that night we had Maya Grill for dinner. I was like, my best Cinco de Mayo. I will never have another one like that.
Yeah.
You were living your best Cinco de Mayo life for sure. And we all need another excuse to to have a margarita and or some tacos or
chips and dip.
Guacamole. Like, I don't need another excuse for guacamole. I'm just going to say, but Disney and will celebrate with me for sure.
Yes, correct. Yes. There's a couple of other things to think about too. So one is May 1st is Disney's Hollywood Studios birthday, anniversary, whatever you want to say. So a lot of times, again, they will have special festivities it's usually, again, another cupcake, or, something along those lines that they will do to celebrate. But then the other thing that a lot of people don't think about, and let
me guess. I think I got where you're going.
You got it?
Because you said the studios. Does it happen at the studios?
It does.
Hey, I won't steal your thunder.
So the other day that you want to think about to be at the studios is May the 4th be with you. And that's because it is so much fun to be at the studios surrounded by, even me, who's not a huge Star Wars fan, to be surrounded by all the Star Wars stuff on May the 4th is just, it's so much fun. So I've literally made sure that I've been in Epcot on Cinco de Mayo and have been at Disney's Hollywood Studios on May the 4th, just so I could celebrate both of those days. So it's a great little stretch right there to be, at Walt Disney World. But it's seriously so much fun to be in Walt Disney World at Disney's Hollywood Studios on May the 4th. And with Star Wars Land, I mean, we really didn't get to see Galaxy's Edge a whole lot, with May the 4th. Wait, we didn't get to see it with May the 4th this year because this year was the first year, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Actually, hang on.
I know. I'm like losing track of time.
No, because I was actually looking at my photos and I was at the opening of Galaxy's Edge.
Which was last August. So, yeah, they didn't. Yes. So they didn't get to, but they didn't get to celebrate May the 4th this year because in Galaxy's Edge because the parks were closed. So I can only imagine what they're going to do for May the 4th. I mean, I know Disney doesn't.
Parks were closed. Yeah. How did I miss that?
Yeah, exactly. So I can only imagine what they're going to do. I mean, of course, it's not going to be like, Star Wars weekends where you got Darth Vader dancing to, Michael Jackson. But
Hoopla, baby.
I know. It's so much fun. But it's still a really cool day to be at the studios, I will say. So.
Yeah, for sure.
God, I miss Star Wars weekends. They were so awesome.
They were so great. I loved it.
Star Wars nerds and Darth Vader dancing to MC Hammer.
It was so much fun. Hey, plus I got to try that. Like they had this test thing that they were doing, and they had like a Star Wars charcuterie board. Not a joke. Literally ate C-3PO like Star Wars themed crackers.
That's so wrong. Okay, so if I was going in May, real quick, because we got to keep this thing moving. I would go probably the week of the 23rd, like towards the end. Just because, I mean, really the good thing about May is really any week's good. Now, I will say the cheerleaders take over the first week of May under normal circumstances, and it is impossible to get a value or even a moderate resort. I've been not able to get one. That's why I ended up at, where'd I end up? Oh, at the B. Oh, I had to because the team was there. But I'm just saying, you are not going to get a value or a moderate if you wait till the last minute that first week of May under normal years, because they block those out. So yeah, I would go. The cheerleaders don't bother you in the parks. They're usually doing their thing at the competitions over at ESPN. But the last third to fourth week of May is what I would go with. All right, let's get into June. Shout out to all of our teachers. If you make it to June this year, holy cow, you've
right
vacation to Walt Disney World after all this. And also the parents, because you are also the para teachers at this point. You are right there doing all the hard work as well. So let's talk June. Ricky, what do we got going on in June?
June, you usually have the end of the Flower and Garden Festival. And then you tend to have that's the start, obviously, of summer vacation. So the parks start to get a little bit busier since kids are tending to be out of school. So you do have to kind of watch that. And then the only really other big thing we have is Father's Day, which is June 21st. And again, kind of like Pam mentioned, for Mother's Day, dining reservations are going to be something that you want to make sure that you have set in stone, because it may be a little difficult to find a great place to have dinner with Dad if you don't plan ahead. So, yeah.
Oh, real quick for May though, how we leave this out? Because again, for our international guests, we have Memorial Day, the last weekend of May. You probably want to avoid that if you can. It's kind of the unofficial start to summer here in the States. And so that'll be on Monday, the 31st. So that weekend prior, the 28th to the 31st, will tend to be a little bit bigger because people are off work on Monday. And
absolutely
long summer kind of kickoff weekend for vacationing. All right. So Father's Day weekend is the weekend of June 20th. So you have that. And And also, I think Jessica in the chat earlier said for Mother's Day, she really enjoyed the PhotoPass photographers tend to have props.
Yes.
Moms. I don't know. What do you have? What kind of props? I don't even know.
I've participated in this actually. They have usually like signs that you hold up and, say Happy Mother's Day 2021, or whatever. So I did it with my mother-in-law actually. So yeah, it was fun.
Does it say word to your mother?
No, it doesn't say word to your mother. No.
That's Six Flags. Okay. Pam, what else about June? I mean, this is when we tend to go down. The weather's hot. I mean, it's hot back at home. Usually now again, under normal circumstances, long park hours. It's a good opportunity under normal circumstances to go to a water park for part of the day. I don't know. What else for June? What do you think about?
I think that it's, again, it's sort of the start of summer. So a lot of people do like to travel during this time, but the attendance is typically low during this time. And when I say a lot of people like to travel during this time, I mean the people that I know like to travel this time because it typically is a good time to travel. The summer is not in full swing with crowds. There are a lot of schools, I think in the South, where the schools are not out yet, or there's certain parts of the country.
The South and the Midwest, we get out in late May. Like let's say we get like by the third week of May. Now the East Coast schools, especially up in the Northeast, they don't get out till the end of June. So this is if you're in the Midwest and South, go in the beginning of June. None of the East Coast is there yet. Yeah, good point.
It is. And there are typically specials, that run during this time that will run, to the beginning of June when Disney releases a special. Now, who knows what next year will look like, but when Disney releases a special, there are typically specials that will go up until mid-June or something like that. So take that into account as well. Of course, you're going to have time in your resort pool. So make sure that you're going to make that a good choice. I just do. Like if you're planning on swimming, make it a good place.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. Like if you were ever going to stay, say at yacht club, beach club, and take advantage of Stormalong Bay. Dude, summer is the greatest time because you got long hours. And the thing is, when the park hours are extended, what that does, that buys you pool time because, if you have short park hours, something's got to give. But if you can go back into the park till 9 or 10, you can go back and swim for a couple hours and go back to the park.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to do that, I think, especially as it starts to get warm, is to take that break in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be the pool, but it does have to be a time when you're sitting in air conditioning, cooling down. So that becomes important. There are going to be, hopefully some summer events that are going to happen. Again, we talked about the after hours event and the H2O glow nights and things like that. We are going to see water parks open next year at Walt Disney World. They have announced a date, so at least one will be open from that point forward. And during June, it will absolutely be open. So enjoy that. I think we'll be looking forward to getting back to normal in that space with that. So if you're going that time, you may want to take advantage of adding that water park to your ticket, because if you're going to go even once, it's better to go ahead and add that to your ticket, because once you add it, then you can go multiple times. So consider that.
I got to throw this in, totally random thing, but one of the things that's offered with that plus option where you get the water parks, you probably have never heard of this, but it is an option. At least it used to be. It was something called foot soccer or foot golf. Foot golf. Say. And so basically what it is, I think they do it on the par 3 course. They do it on one of the courses at Walt Disney World. You can play, basically it's playing golf, but you kick a soccer ball. Now, Paige played this in Columbia this past weekend and sent some pictures. She was having a blast because she was like a high school soccer player. She probably could have played in college. And, it's just one of those things. Like you're at Walt Disney World. If you're somebody who maybe played soccer, your kids play soccer, that could be something you do. It's those little things. If you've gone a bunch of times, I would have never thought about it, but Paige played this past weekend. I was like, they offer that at Walt Disney World. I've never seen it played, but she had a blast. So it's soccer. It is. Now, real quick, Jessica in the live chat says, speaking of the signs for Mother's Day, she says, I had one that was me holding a sign that had Mrs. Potts and Chip, and it just said Happy Mother's Day, as both of my kids had a meltdown in front of me in their double stroller. We got some great laughs out of that one. So yeah, Happy Mother's Day. Your kids are having a meltdown at Walt Disney World.
I love it.
Have a nice, great picture. All right, real quick, June, Ricky, which week would you pick if you had to pick one?
Oh gosh,
early. Beat the East Coasters.
Yeah, probably early. Yeah, like that first or second week. Yeah.
And Wade in our live chat, my good buddy up in Nebraska, Oak Trail has the foot golf. So there you go. Get your Paige went out and had to buy cleats because she had to do it right. She bought some cheap cleats at Academy Sports because she wanted to be, she didn't want to look like a Yahoo out there with flat shoes. So
that's funny.
Pack your cleats if you want to play some foot golf. All right, let's get into July. Of course, we have the 4th of July weekend. This year, it's the first. Well, I guess it would always be the first weekend. 4th of July, I'm a dummy.
4th of July doesn't change.
Yeah, it's the 4th. It tends to be that way. It is the 4th on. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep. Actually, the thing I was meant to say, it's on the weekend. It's a weekend, the 4th. It's a Sunday. All right, so July, kind of the same thing as June, but the crowds do start to build. But I will say, and I don't know why this is, Pam. We have always gone for the 4th of July, right? We're always there for the 4th of July. Sometimes we do a cruise with it. But when we're there, the week that's immediately after the 4th of July, so we'll go down like on the 2nd or the 3rd, and we typically stay till like the 9th or the 10th. That crowd, the weekend after the 4th of July, it always seems low. Like, I don't know why, but it doesn't seem big, and it seems like it should be. So talk to us about July.
I agree. And again, it's such it's a summer vacation moment for me. When I'm there during that weekend, I'm always like, oh, this is what summer vacation is, right? I mean, it just really is. I love it. The parks are typically open later. It's hot, but you get to go early and enjoy the parks and then go back to your resort like we talked about. The pool becomes even more important. And for some reason, it's one of the major holidays in the US that doesn't feel like it's overcrowded for like a week on end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th of July gets busy. Absolutely. Like, to say it's not wouldn't be true. It just wouldn't. But it doesn't stay busy for a long period of time. And I think that's what we really are noticing. So,
spoiler though, if you do go see the fireworks on the 4th of July, if they bring them back, it ruins you for fire. It's kind of like New Year's Eve too. Yeah, it ruins you for on fireworks. All right, Ricky. So really the month is wide open. Like I don't see any
Yeah.
other holidays.
Mhm.
Epcot, no festivals going on under normal circumstances. Of course, we did
Right.
have Food and Wine in mid-July this year.
Yes.
But I mean, what else to consider? I mean, it's going to be hot. It's going to be smoking hot. You do got to swim. You got to take breaks.
It's absolutely going to be hot. So make sure you bring plenty of water or, pack a cooling towel or a fan or an umbrella or all of the above. Like, just make sure, it's going to be hot. So that's pretty much the only thing. Like there's no way around it. I mean, you're just going to be baking in the sun. So, I mean, it's still enjoyable. And this is when Mike's tip of taking the afternoon break comes in handy. Now, I don't take the afternoon break, but he does. So, that's kind of nice.
You want to know my hack that I've had with my family since Paige was little?
Yes.
Is that Paige always wanted to swim. Like in the middle of the afternoon, like we'd be at the park. I want to go back and swim. Okay. I would go take a nap in that ice cold room, make it as dark as a dungeon, and then
Yes.
Pam and Paige would go swim, and now Mallory goes and swims. So like I get a room all to myself, ice cold, dark, and I mean I am set. Good hour, like a cold nap in July. Oh my god, that's glorious. That's beautiful.
I'm glad for you.
And they're kind of tired because they swam, but too bad you picked the wrong thing. I mean, swim though. All right, so now August is kind of a funny month because, okay,
Yeah.
I say here. You could go early. Okay, this is so bad. What kind of people do you want on vacation with at Walt Disney World? Because the thing is, if you go in late August, most of the people in the South and the Midwest are not going to be there because school has started. I know most teachers in the Midwest, we go back at the beginning of August. The kids go back usually the second week or so of August at this point. But the East Coasters, they get out till Labor Day. So they're still there. So it kind of depends on your school schedule. But again, anytime you have that have and have kind of thing, the crowds aren't going to be as big. Now, the thing you got to watch in August, and it is that this is when the hurricanes or the more monsoonal rains will start happening in August. They happen all summer, but you will have the possibility of hurricanes. I was in a hurricane down there in August, but it's really, really a good time to go. And a lot of times there are incentives, discounts in August. So Pam, talk to us about August, but not really any big holidays to celebrate.
No, I mean, you'll likely get Labor Day, possibly, yes, as was mentioned, but that's it. And again, that's not something that really impacts crowds that much. And that's another thing. There are many schools, as we talked about in early June, there are many schools in August that are starting back.
Mhm.
And therefore, everyone can't travel at that time of year, which means, again, it's another really great time to travel if your kids happen to still be out of school during this month. Again, you're going to deal with the heat, but I don't know where you live. In August in Pennsylvania, it's real hot here too.
Mhm.
So the difference between like 89 and 91 really is not that big of a deal. So it is again another time when you're gonna, I think, spend a little more time at your resort because you are going to go back for different times. But so put that into your decision. Make sure that you're really thinking about those things when you're looking at these different times to travel. At certain times of the year, maybe you're spending a lot more time in the park and your resort doesn't matter quite as much. But at the time of the year that you are going to be back at your resort or your pool, put that into your decision making. And I would go, if you can go, I think toward the end of August, like between the 3rd and 4th week, I think that's like my sweet spot for August.
Agreed. And it's one of those times, this is July and August. You want to be there. This is a time to rope drop the parks early in the morning, beat the crowds, hop out, maybe catch your lunch, to at a sit down place or a counter service place in the park you're in, hop out, say noon, 1 o'clock, and go back to the park, for dinner. This is assuming park hopping comes back. Go to another park, sit down, have your dinner there, do a few rides, see a couple shows, and then watch your fireworks. That's how I attack the summer. That's totally it. Because the thing is, like, when I get back to the resort, especially in the summer, like I'm like, oh, what am I missing at the park? What I'm missing is just it's being smoking hot. I need the break. I just physically need to be out of the park for a couple hours, and then I enjoy the evening. So that's really important, I think, for the summer months. All right, let's wrap this up with September.
Wait.
Pam mentioned, do we have anything else for August?
Yes, we do. It doesn't seem like we should, but we do. Huh?
Is it Food and Wine starting in August?
Food and Wine oftentimes does start at the end of August. So just keep that in mind. The other thing that starts in August, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So Yeah, I know. I told you it doesn't seem like it should, but it totally does. So it usually kicks off around that middle part of August and then happens on select nights. So yeah, just a heads up, you may have a Halloween party to go to.
It's true. Okay, so September's where we're wrapping this up. So we will have the Halloween parties continuing through the month of September. So you're gonna, what that means is watch the Magic Kingdom schedule in September, because you're gonna have nights where the Magic Kingdom closes early, 6 or 7, and again, that can work in your favor if park hopping is an option that is back and you have that on your ticket. I love going to the Magic Kingdom on days that there's parties, because people that have single-use non-park hopping tickets will tend to avoid the Magic Kingdom. You can go to the Magic Kingdom, hop over to another park in the evening. I love doing that. So you got Mickey's Not So Scary. You got Labor Day, first weekend of September. Ricky, you used to go all the time over Labor Day weekend. So tell us about that.
I still go all the time during Labor Day weekend. I find it to be a great weekend to be at Walt Disney World. It's one of those holiday weekends that is not as crowded as you think it would be typically, just because a lot of kids are just going back to school. So a lot of parents don't want to pull their children out of school for a 3-day weekend or longer. So that's kind of the nice sweet spot about Labor Day. You will have the locals who tend to come a little bit more on the weekend, obviously. But after the weekend's over, I mean, the crowds go back to, kind of where they were. So that's the nice part about Labor Day, and kind of why I liked to go during that Labor Day time period, because not only would I get the extra day off of work, but, I would also have lower crowds overall. So, that's kind of the nice part about Labor Day.
And Pam, talking about this, the month of September from a travel professional point of view, for somebody that plans trips, this is the month where historically, again, we don't know, but historically, I mean, we almost always see aggressive discounts from Disney, because it's the time they have to incentivize people to travel with school just starting.
Yeah, it is. And again, we have no idea what this is going to look like next year, but we hope that we do see a pickup in the travel industry, and who knows if it'll even be needed at that point in time. It's something that, 2020, I think a lot of people had money set aside for vacations that still is there in 2021 vacation budgets. So maybe everyone's going to be traveling a whole bunch. So, I don't know what we'll see, but it's a great time to travel. It's starting to fall. You're still have all the great things about summer there in terms of temperatures and other things, but, there definitely are less crowds. So it's a good thing to consider.
Yeah. And, the month's wide open once you get past Labor Day. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. You got fall decorations, you have the Food and Wine Festival, you got the Halloween parties. It's really an awesome time to go. I remember we used to do that Epic October, which was always at the very end of September, first week of October. And that's just a great time. There's a lot going on. It was just like, there's something about seeing like the Christmas lights on Main Street, but there's also something about going down Main Street and seeing like the browns and the oranges and the pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns. It's fun.
There really is. Yes,
I agree.
So.
All right, well, it's going to do it for today's show. So if you combine last Friday's and today's, we hope we covered the calendar for you. Just give you some considerations, to plan that next trip. Because the first thing you got to think about is when you want to go, right? You want to think about the hotel. You want to think about when you want to go. And then, of course, after you get those two big things out of the way, who you going to take with you, right? You can take the kids, you can leave them at home, be like, sorry, suckers, we're going on a business trip, and tell them 10 years later, actually, Walt Disney World. We're going on a business trip. Hey, I get to say that sometimes, right, Pam? I've said that to my family, Pam.
It's true.
I tell my Pam, don't be mad. I know you got to teach, but don't be like, do business. Like, what a business at the Magic Kingdom, whatever. Don't talk to me. I got to go to work.
I know, right?
It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet when instead of packing a lunchbox, like they always do here in Missouri, pack a lunchbox. That's like a saying. I just pack Mickey ears and go. I love my job. Anyway, speaking of my job, book your next trip with the Magic for Less Trouble. I want to help you plan a trip, and I can write you a note. I also used to be a teacher, and I can get you out. sticky situations like this to go down to Walt Disney World, I can, I did not official, but I was a teacher and I can write excuses. So I'm good at that. So no, drop by the Magic for Less travel. Check out all the great trip planning tools. It's a great place to start. One of the first things I tell my guests is go over there and look at the resort guides. Because the first thing you want to know is like where I'm going to stay. Where do I want to stay this trip? Because it could, if you're a Disney veteran, it could change from trip to trip. What are the goals? Pop Century today, maybe Yacht Club tomorrow. You can do a split stay, but you can see all the great tools over there. And while you're there, fill out that free, no obligation quote form, put in some dates, put in some names, put in a couple of hotels. We'll look at the availability. We'll look at the pricing, we'll track the discounts, and we'll get you squared away. But we sure appreciate when you book with the Magic for Less. It's a free fee agency. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Supports a small business. And it really does. You get all these reminder emails. You might know the information. It might give you a reminder, something you could miss. But at the bottom line is these emails I get from my guests all the time. They say, hey, it was kind of fun to get that reminder in my email today, telling you about, hey, it's almost time to make ADRs. Hey, don't forget, these are some of the things you don't want to forget to pack, stuff like that. So check it out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And a huge shout out to all the patrons. You guys are awesome. You're helping us get through this little downturn in travel, which is turning around quickly. We appreciate that so much. If you want to support the show, become a patron and get Mike in the Midwest every Thursday, just visit patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Don't forget, December 5th, 2020, put it on the calendar, 2 to 8 Eastern. We're going to be live from Give Kids the World Village right here on Facebook and YouTube. But we'd really love it if you're down in Central Florida. Come by and see us at the Village. We'd love to go see the Christmas lights with us. I'm telling you, they've been putting on the social media this past week, the previews of the Village. I mean,
looks gorgeous.
What I heard initially, they said think Osborne lights, and I'm like, yeah, right. Dude, it's crazy. Like those lights are awesome. They even have like the tree in front of Henry's scoops. Did you see that tree? It's like all digital and stuff and does like projection.
Looks awesome. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I am so excited to be down there December 5th. So set aside a little money, donate to the Village on December 5th. We'll have the auction going on that week prior, the whole week. It's going to be awesome. So December 5th, put it on the calendar, and we'll be down to the Village. Also give us a follow on social media. We'll keep you up to date with everything happening. Instagram and Twitter at BRGuestPod and at BRGuestMike, and search for the show on Facebook and YouTube. All right, time to get out of here and let you get on with your weekend, and hope you have a great one. So for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike saying stay safe, stay healthy, and MIZ beat Kentucky. Okay. Funny thing about Kentucky real quick. I booked a trip for somebody this week. They are from Catlettsburg, Kentucky, where my grandparents grew up. And it's a little bitty, teeny, tiny mining town, like the oil, like kind of like West Virginia, like the coal area.
Yeah.
And they knew, like, they may be distantly related to me. They found the podcast, but they had no idea. But I'm like, Catlettsburg is where my grandpa was from. And so his dad worked with my grandpa's brother at the refinery.
Really?
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I know, it's so weird.
That
All
is
right,
weird.
I'm going to bounce, and we'll do this again next Monday.
All
See you
right.
next Monday. Okay.
See y'all next Monday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.